All right, get ready for a story, and I gotta warn you, it's basically a horror movie. We're talking about a creature that has its body, its mind, even its future stolen from it. And the craziest part, it's still alive through the whole thing.
So let me ask you something. Are zombies real? I know, it sounds like something straight out of a movie, right? But what if the answer was a definite yes?
And what if I told you they're not just real, they're in the ocean, right now, hiding in plain sight?
So, let's dive into our first section here, nature's body snatchers. This is all about what happens when a crab isn't really a crab anymore. Imagine this. You see a crab, it looks totally normal, scuttling along the ocean floor. But on the inside, it's completely hollowed out, just a puppet being controlled by something else.
I mean, this whole idea is so out there, it sounds like something from a sci-fi movie. And you know what? I'm not the only one who thinks so. I saw this quote from a blogger that just nails it. If this arthropod were a movie, it would unquestionably be Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And honestly, that's the perfect way to describe it.
Okay, so who or what is pulling the strings here? Who's the puppet master? Well, let's find out in Section 2. And trust me, the answer is going to surprise you. Because this is not your average barnacle.
Yeah, I said barnacle. And I know what you're thinking. Those little hard-shelled things stuck to rocks and ships, right? Filter feeding? Nope. Forget everything you know. This parasitic barnacle is a whole different animal. It has no shell, no legs, it doesn't even have a gut. Its entire existence is inside another creature, just siphoning off nutrients to stay alive.
The scientific name for this group of parasites is Rhizocephala. And that name is, well, it's pretty creepy and spot on. It breaks down to root head. Why? Because that's literally what it does. It grows this crazy network of roots all throughout its host's body, basically taking over from the inside.
Now, the most famous member of this creepy family, or maybe I should say infamous, is a little guy called Sacculina carcini. But you're going to love its common name, the crab hacker barnacle. How perfect is that?
So the big question is, how does this tiny, seemingly simple organism pull off such a sophisticated body snatch? Well, that brings us to Section 3. The invasion begins. Think of it as a microscopic, hostile takeover.
Okay, so here's how it goes down. It's truly wild. First, a tiny female larva finds a crab and latches onto a weak spot, usually a joint. Then, something amazing happens. She completely sheds her shell and transforms into this weird, slug-like thing called a kentrogon. From there, she injects just a microscopic little ball of her own cells directly into the crab's bloodstream. Those cells then travel through the crab's body and start to grow into that root system we talked about, the interna, wrapping around all the vital organs. And then for the grand finale, a reproductive sac, the externa, pushes its way out of the crab's abdomen, right where the crab would normally carry its own eggs.
And just like that, the invasion is complete. From this point on, the crab's life is, well, it's not its own anymore. So let's talk about what that looks like in Section 4, life as a zombie. This is the crab's new reality, and it is a nightmare.
You see, the parasite doesn't just sit there and eat. Oh no, it performs a complete body makeover on the crab. First thing it does? Chemical castration. The crab's own reproductive organs just shrink away, making it totally infertile. Next, it puts a stop to all growth. The crab can't molt anymore, which means it can't get bigger, can't heal, can't even regrow a lost limb. But here's where it gets even weirder. If the host is a male crab, the parasite forces its body to change, to become more female-like, even widening its abdomen. Why? All to create the perfect nursery for the parasite's own babies.
But as creepy as those physical changes are, the mind heist is where this story goes full-on horror movie. The crab basically becomes a mindless nanny. Its only purpose now is to care for the parasite's egg sac, that externa. It's constantly grooming it, cleaning it, protecting it as if it were its own eggs. And then, when it's time for the parasite's larvae to hatch, the crab, and it doesn't matter if it was originally male or female, will climb up on a rock and start waving its claws in the water, creating the current to help spread the new generation of body snatchers. Its own instincts have been completely overwritten.
Okay, that is a wild, wild story from the depths of the ocean. But you might be thinking, so what? It's just a weird crab thing. Well, why should we care? That's what we're going to cover in our last section. What this means for us. Because believe it or not, a single zombie crab actually matters a whole lot more than you might think. Yeah, this isn't some super rare thing that happens once in a blue moon. The scale of this is, honestly, it's staggering. In some places, scientists have found that up to 50% of the crabs are infected. Think about that. That's 1 out of every 2 crabs you see completely controlled by this parasite. An infection rate that high is going to have a huge impact on the entire ecosystem.
So how does this connect back to us humans? Well, a few ways. First, there's the economic side. These parasites mess with the fishing industry because infected crabs, like the green crab, they stop growing and they can't reproduce, so fewer crabs to harvest. Now, what about food safety? Are they okay to eat? The good news is yeah. The parasite doesn't seem to affect humans, so as long as the crab is cooked well, you're fine. But here's a really interesting twist. Scientists are actually looking at Sacculina as a potential weapon, a biocontrol agent to fight invasive crab species. The only problem is this parasite isn't too picky about its host, so there's a real risk it could start attacking native crabs, which would just create a whole new mess.
So when you think about it, this whole incredible drama of mind control and body snatching is playing out right now all over the ocean floor, totally hidden from us. And that kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? It leaves me with this one big question. How many other zombies like this are out there, hiding in plain sight, just waiting for us to discover their stories?